The leopard has been watching you for 20 minutes. You don't know this because your modern eyes can't spot the spotted death machine perfectly camouflaged in the acacia tree above. Your nose can't detect the musky scent that would have sent your ancestors sprinting. Your ears don't register the almost silent shift of muscle and claw. In exactly 3 seconds, 140 lbs of prehistoric killing perfection will drop onto your naked back. Canines puncture your skull before your brain even processes the shadow. Welcome to Africa 100,000 years ago. The birthplace of humanity, the graveyard of the unprepared. You have 24 hours to survive in the same savanna that forged our species through pure brutality. But here's the thing. You're not your ancestors. You're soft, ignorant, and in this world, that's a death sentence written in blood and bone. Your eyes snap open to alien constellations. No light pollution, no familiar landmarks, just an endless African savanna stretching toward mountains that shouldn't exist. The air hits your lungs wrong, thick with dust, pollen from extinct plants, and something else. Fear, pure primal fear that your body recognizes, even if your mind doesn't. You're naked, completely, utterly naked. No tools, no clothes, no iPhone to Google how to survive prehistory. Just soft skin that evolution spent 100,000 years protecting with technology you don't have. The temperature is already climbing. 6 signs AM and it's 35 degrees C, 95 degrees F. By noon, it'll hit 47 degrees C, 117 degrees F. Your body adapted for air conditioning and shade will start shutting down at 42 degree core temperature. That gives you maybe 6 hours before heat stroke turns your brain to mush. But the heat is the least of your problems. Your feet touch ground that's never known concrete. Sharp stones hidden in grass that look deceptively soft. Thorns from acacias that evolved specifically to punish flesh. Within minutes, your soft soles are bleeding. In this world, every drop of blood is a dinner bell. The smell hits next. Musk, dung, death. Your ancestors would pass each scent like reading a newspaper. This means the elephant passed away yesterday. That means hyenas killed nearby. This means water, but also crocodiles. You smell only unfamiliarity and your own growing terror. Movement catches your eye, not dramatic, just grass shifting wrong. Modern humans see movement and think of the wind. Your ancestors saw movement and thought death. They were usually right. In Paleolithic Africa, everything that moves is either predator, prey, or competition. You're none of these. You're just meat that doesn't know it yet. A sound splits the morning. Not quite roaring, not quite laughing. Spotted hyenas, a clan of 20 to 80 individuals with bite forces that crack elephant bones like peanuts. They're matriarchal, intelligent, and they hunt in coordinated packs. Their success rate is over 74% higher than lions, higher than anything you'll ever escape from on foot. Your brain evolved for processing spreadsheets and social media tries to rationalize. Maybe they're far away. Maybe they're not hungry. Maybe you can climb a tree. But this isn't a movie. Hyenas can run 60 km/h. You can manage maybe 15 on this terrain. They can smell blood from 10 kilometers away. And that cut on your foot, it's broadcasting your location like a GPS tracker made of meat. The sun climbs higher. No clouds, no mercy. In the distance, vultures circle something dead or dying in 6 hours. That could be you. In 12 hours, it probably will be. Your modern mind screams for options that don't exist. Call for help. To whom? Find weapons. With what knowledge? Make shelter from what materials? Every solution requires skills you never learned, tools you can't craft, knowledge that died with the last true human survivors. Welcome to Paleolithic Africa. You've been conscious for 5 minutes, only 1,435 to go if you last that long. The growl comes from grass that shouldn't hide a 200-kilo cat. But Dinophilus isn't like modern predators. The terrible cat is perfectly evolved for one thing, killing primates, killing things like you. Paleontologists call it a false saber tooth, but there's nothing false about those fangs. Shorter than Smilans, yes, but perfectly sized for puncturing primate skulls. The Tong child learned this personally. 3-year-old Oralopithecus with talon marks in its eye sockets, brain extracted through the base of its skull. That was from an eagle. Dinophilus is worse. You can't see it, that's the point. Leopards are ambush specialists, but Dinophilus wrote the manual. It doesn't chase, doesn't roar warnings. It watches from cover, calculates, then explodes into violence. The only warning is sudden weight on your shoulders and teeth in your brain. But Dinophilus has competition. This is Paleolithic Africa, Predator Central, the WWE of carnivores, where everything has evolved specifically to end you. Case in point, the whooping call echoing across the savannah. Painted wolves, not the endangered species you might see in a zoo. These are dire wolf cousins, 20% larger, traveling in a super pack of 50+ individuals. Their hunting strategy would make Navy SEALs weep. Relay teams run prey to exhaustion. Flankers cut off escape routes. They communicate with frequencies you can't hear, coordinate with intelligence that rivals chimps. Success rate 85%. For comparison, lions manage 30% on a good day. A splash from the waterhole you're desperately avoiding draws your attention. Mistake. Never look away from the grass in Africa, but you see it anyway. A log that's not a log. Crocodileus anthropophagus. The name literally means man-eater. Nile crocodiles grow to 6 meter, but these Pleistocene monsters hit 7.5. Their bite force is 5,000 psi. For context, it takes 160 psi to crush a human skull. The fossil record tells their success story. 0.8 from old, a Homo habilis foot with toes bitten clean off. Crocodile teeth marks in hominin bones from dozens of sites. They've been eating our lineage for 7 million years. They're not stopping for you. The above shadows circle repels griffin vultures but is bigger. Pleotine vultures had 3-meter wingspans and the patience of geological time. They know what you don't. In this heat without water you have maybe 20 hours. They can wait. They always wait. But the real nightmare, it's already inside you. Sleeping sickness, malaria, parasites your immune system has never met. That water you're craving. It's soup of death, schistosomiasis, giardia, cholera, the kind that kills 60% of victims here versus 29% elsewhere. Africa doesn't just have predators. It is a predator at every scale. Cave hyenas materialize from nowhere. The Chicrauta brevirostris, 110 kilo of bone-crushing specialist. Their dens contain thousands of bones, human bones, child bones, your bones. Soon enough. They don't even need to kill you. Those painted wolves will do that. Hyenas just clean up. They're patient like that. 3 hours since you woke up in hell. The temperature has climbed to 42 degrees C, 107 degrees in F. But that's in the shade. There is no shade. On the open savanna, ground temperature hits 65 degrees C, 149 degrees F. Hot enough to cook eggs. Hot enough to cook you. Your body is failing in ways medical school never covered. See, humans are heat dissipation machines. We sweat. 2 to 3 million sweat glands pump moisture to our skin. Evaporation cools us, and we survive temperatures that kill other mammals. Beautiful system. When it works, it's not working. Humidity is 15%. Your sweat evaporates before it can cool you. Salt crusts on your skin like crystallized failure. You're losing 2 L of water per hour, but cooling efficiency has dropped to nothing. Your body is a Ferrari radiator in a desert. All that engineering, zero function. Core temperature 39.5 degrees C and climbing. At 40 degrees C, heat stroke begins. At 42 degrees C, proteins denature. Your enzymes stop working. Cellular metabolism fails. Your brain, that beautiful 86 billion neuron computer, literally cooks in its own skull. The symptoms cascade. First, the throbbing headache as your brain swells against bone. Vision blurs, not from sweat in your eyes, but from optical nerves misfiring. Your skin paradoxically stops sweating, the body's last desperate attempt to preserve water, but without sweat, temperature skyrockets. Confusion hits like a drug. Is that tree getting closer or farther? Did you already pass that termite mound? Your hippocampus, responsible for spatial memory, shuts down at 41 degrees C. You're lost even standing still. Your muscles cramp, not normal cramps. These are full-body convulsions as electrolytes catastrophically imbalance. Sodium, potassium, chloride, all dumped through sweat you couldn't spare. Your neurons can't fire properly. Commands from brain to muscle arrive garbled or not at all. The ground burns your feet with every step. Paleolithic humans had leather soles from a lifetime barefoot. Yours are office soft, already blistered, now literally cooking on superheated earth. Each step is agony. Standing still is agony. Existence is agony. You need shelter. But where? Those trees are thorned acacias designed to impale that promising overhang. Leopard territory, the tall grass that might offer relief. Death trap where predators wait. Your ancestors knew every microclimate, every seasonal shade pattern. You know nothing. Water. The word loops in your brain like a broken prayer, but your kidneys are already shutting down. Dark urine. What little emerges signals acute dehydration. Your blood thickens to syrup. Your heart pounds harder to push sludge through narrowing vessels. Blood pressure spikes, then crashes. The vultures have multiplied. 12 now. They know what your body is only beginning to understand. In this heat, without water, without shelter, human physiology has hard limits. You're approaching them at terminal velocity. Hallucinations begin. Your dying brain, starved of proper blood flow, creates mirages more convincing than reality. Is that an oasis or another lie? Is that your mother calling or just neurons misfiring? Reality fractures at the edges. By noon, ground temperature will hit 70 degrees C. Air temperature 47 degrees C. Your core temperature, if you last that long, is 42.6 degrees C. That's not survival statistics. That's a death certificate written in thermodynamics. The sun isn't just your enemy here, it's your executioner, and it's only getting started. Your throat burns with thirst, but that succulent plant beckons with promise. Thick, juicy leaves glisten with moisture. Just one bite. What could go wrong? Everything. Welcome to Africa's botanical nightmare, where 73% of plants have evolved chemical weapons specifically to destroy things like you. That water-storing plant, Euphoria candelabrum, the latex in its stems, contains dipterpene esters that cause severe burning, blistering, blindness, and death. Traditional healers use it for fishing. One branch poisons an entire pond. You're considering drinking it. The irony burns worse than your throat. You're surrounded by calories you can't access, moisture you can't drink, medicine you can't identify. Your ancestors held encyclopedic knowledge of over 1,100 plant species. They knew which roots turned edible after 3 days of leaching, which seeds needed fermentation to neutralize cyanide, which bark treated fever versus which caused cardiac arrest. You know nothing. That grass seed that looks like wheat, Panicum maximum, contains cyanogenic glycoside. Chew it and hydrogen cyanide releases in your mouth. Death tastes like bitter almonds and takes 20 minutes. Convulsions, respiratory failure, the works. Even touching the wrong plant kills here. Dendroid maroids. The suicide plant has silica tip needles that inject neurotoxins causing pain. So severe, victims have killed themselves to escape it. The pain lasts months, sometimes years. There's no antidote. A rustling in the underbrush catches your attention. Bush viper perfectly camouflaged, 60 centimeters of bad decisions waiting to happen. Its venom is hemotoxic, destroys blood cells, and causes massive internal bleeding. Without antivenom, you'll bleed from every orifice while your organs liquefy. Death takes 2 to 4 days. The pain is indescribable, but it's not even the worst option. Black mamba, 3 of neurological destruction. 2 drops of venom contain enough neurotoxin to kill 10 men. Symptoms begin in 10 minutes. tunnel vision, drowsiness, paralysis. Without antivenom, respiratory failure in 30 minutes to 3 hours. The 10-minute snake, because that's how long you have to make peace with your gods. The insects are no better. That ant column Safu driver ants. 20 million individuals moving like liquid death. They've killed humans, stripped them to bones in hours. Their mandibles lock in death, used as emergency sutures by locals who know their habits. You'll just be food. Sets flies buzz past. Each carries trypanosoma due to sleeping sickness. First comes fever, headaches, joint pain. Then the parasite crosses your blood-brain barrier. Confusion, personality changes, disrupted sleep cycles, finally coma and death, mortality rate without treatment 100%, the safe fruit on that tree. Strychnos spinosa looks edible, smells sweet, but its cousin Strychon nux vomica contains strychin. One seed causes violent convulsions, muscle spasms so severe they break your own bones. You die conscious in agony, unable to breathe as your diaphragm locks. Your skin crawls literally. That's not paranoia. It's tick larvae. Thousands of them, each a potential vector for Crimean Congo hemorrhagic fever. 30% mortality rate. You bleed from everywhere while your liver fails. Plants that look identical have opposite effects. Acacia arthropods are nutritious. Acacia nilotica pods cause violent dysentery. The subtle leaf shapes your untrained eye will never distinguish. One feeds you, one ensures you deal yourself to death. The cruel joke. Traditional knowledge could save you. The tree's bark treats malaria. Those leaves stop bleeding. This root neutralizes venom. But the knowledge died with the last indigenous teachers. You're a biochemistry lab trying to recreate 200,000 years of experimental data with no equipment and a ticking clock. Every choice is Russian roulette with 5 bullets loaded. Touch the wrong leaf, eat the wrong seed, brush against the wrong bark. Game over. In this paradise, ignorance isn't bliss. It's death by 1,000 possible toxins, and you can't identify a single safe option. 5 hours. Your tongue is leather, your throat sandpaper. Every cell screams for water, but in Paleolithic Africa, water doesn't just give life, it delivers death with enthusiasm. That muddy waterhole 200 meters away promises relief. Your body doesn't care that it's brown, that things float in it, that bones litter its edges. Dehydration has a way of editing survival priorities. But those bones should be your first warning. They're human, small and child-sized. Crocodiles don't just lurk in African water. They own it. 13-foot plain monsters with patience, measured in geological time. They can hold their breath for 6 hours, move invisibly despite weighing 600 kilos, and accelerate from 0 to your leg in 0.3 seconds. Their success rate at water's edge is near 100%. But let's say you're lucky, no crocodiles, you drink. Congratulations, you've just ingested. Enter Phytolytica, amoebic dysentery, 90% fatal without treatment. Schistosoma, hematobium, parasitic worms that destroy your bladder and kidneys. Giardia lamblia, explosive diarrhea that accelerates dehydration. Vibrio, cholera, you'll chown yourself to death in 18 hours. Draunulus medinensis guinea worm emerges through your skin after a year, and roughly 10,000 other microorganisms your modern immune system has never met. The cruel mathematics you need, 3 to 4 L daily in this heat. Each sip is a pathogenic lottery. Your ancestors had partial immunity from lifelong exposure. You have an immune system trained on hand sanitizer and filtered water. That cleaner stream you spot, it's fed by groundwater filtered through bat guano. Histoplasma capsulatum spores wait to colonize your lungs. Or maybe it passes through deposits of naturally occurring arsenic, fluoride, or lead. Africa's geology is generous with toxins. Even if you find clean water, storage is impossible. No containers. Cupped hands lose 90% before reaching your mouth. Animal bladders. You'd need to kill something first. Leaves. Most are toxic. Your ancestors carried treated ostrich eggs, calabashes sealed with beeswax, technologies you can't even conceptualize. The dehydration compounds exponentially. Your blood volume drops 10%. Heart rate spikes to 120 beats per minute, just standing. Blood pressure crashes when you move. Kidneys scream warnings through dark, concentrated urine. What little emerges. Your body is cannibalizing muscle tissue for moisture. Cognitive function deteriorates. You can't remember which direction you came from. Was that waterhole always there? Did those rocks move? Dehydration, psychosis is real. Hallucinations, paranoia, violent mood swings. Your brain is literally shrinking inside your skull. The smart solution, follow animals to water, is death wrapped in logic. Predators know this trick. Every waterhole is a killing field at dawn and dusk. Ambush predators position themselves along game trails. You're not following animals to water. You're joining a bouquet line as the main course. Rainfall. This is the dry season. No rain for 4 more months. Morning dew in 15% humidity. The dew point is theoretical. Dig for water through baked earth with your soft hands while losing more moisture through sweat than you could ever recover. The water table is 30 meters down. Plant moisture is another deadly joke. Barrel cactuses store water, but their sap is toxic. Vines contain fluids, but which ones? The wrong choice means kidney failure. Your ancestors knew, transmitted through 10,000 generations of fatal trials. You're starting from scratch with one life to experiment. Your kidneys hurt, not metaphorically, actual sharp pain as they struggle to filter thickening blood. Acute kidney injury sets in after 10% body water loss. You're approaching 15%. Your urine is dark amber when it comes at all. Your body is choosing which organs to sacrifice. The waterhole calls louder. Your rational mind knows it's death. Your dying cells don't care. In 8 hours without water in this heat, you'll drink anything. Mud, blood, your own urine. By then, it won't matter. The damage is done. You're dying of thirst in a landscape where water exists everywhere, poisoned, guarded, contaminated, or chemically locked in plants you can't process. Africa doesn't just kill with predators and heat. It murders with the very substance of life itself. And your modern body, accustomed to turning a handle for clean water, has no defense against this liquid warfare. Time since last water, 14 hours. Time until kidney failure, 10 hours. Time until you drink death itself, 2 hours. The mathematics of moisture are non-negotiable, and you're already in terminal deficit, 7 hours. The sun has burned your skin to blistering red. No melanin protection evolved for this UV assault. No clothes, no tools, just soft flesh in a world designed to pierce, slash, and shred. You're a peeled grape in a cactus garden, your feet a hamburger. Each step leaves bloody prints that every predator can follow. Thorns from weight bushes have embedded so deep you can't extract them with your fingernails, which are already torn and useless. The irony. Your ancestors' feet were their primary survival tool, leather-thick soles that could run 40 kilometers across volcanic rock. Yours gave up after 40 meters. Without tools, you're not even an apex predator of your own body. That splinter festering in your palm might as well be a death sentence. No way to extract it, no way to prevent infection. In 48 hours, red streaks will race up your arm. Sepsis, game over. Watch a naked human try to process food. Those tubers that could save you from starvation. Toxic without cooking. Your teeth can't break them down raw. Your jaw muscles weakened by a lifetime of processed food. Cramp after 3 bites. Our ancestors had molars like millstones. Jaw muscles that could crack bones. You have cosmetic dentistry designed for Instagram smiles. The termite mound offers protein. Just break it open with what? Your soft hands bounce off concrete hard earth. Chimpanzees use tools for this. You're less equipped than a chimp. The termites continue their billion-strong civilization while you bleed from attempting entry with fingernails. A sharp rock could change everything. But sharp rock requires knowing which rocks fracture correctly. Quartzite shatters unpredictably. Sandstone crumbles. You need flint, coal, or obsidian. Can you identify them? Your ancestors could smell the difference in stone. You can't even spell napping. Without cutting tools, you can't access anything worthwhile. Marrow in bones locked away, nutritious organs rotting inside unreachable hides, fibrous plants for cordage, might as well be steel cables to your untooled hands. You're surrounded by resources you can't touch, like a starving person in a locked grocery store. The cascade of tool dependency breaks your modern mind. Need fire requires friction tools. Need friction tools require cutting tools. Need cutting tools require hammering tools. Need hammering tools requires knowing which rocks won't explode in your face. It's circular dependency hell, and you're locked outside the circle. Your skin tells the real story. 12 hours of African sun has turned you into walking melanoma. Blisters form on blisters. Your lips crack and bleed. Your eyes with no brow protection are swelling shut from UV damage. Skin cancer is academic. You won't live long enough for tumors to matter. No tools means no hunting. That rabbit you optimistically chased. It's in Botswana by now. Persistence hunting requires weapons to finish exhausted prey. You have nothing. Even if you caught something, then what? Bite through hide. Your primate teeth are designed for fruit, not fur. You'd break a molar on rabbit skin. The psychological breakdown accelerates. Humans are tool users. It's our defining trait. Without tools, you're not even fully human anymore. Just another soft primate, but one that's forgotten how to be an animal. You can't climb like your distant ancestors, can't digest raw meat like carnivores, can't process cellulose like herbivores. Your evolution's middle management, all brains, no specialized equipment. That cobra sunning on the rocks. Your ancestors would fashion a forked stick, pin its head, extract venom for arrow poison. You'll walk around it in a terror circle, losing more energy you don't have. Every moment is a problem requiring tools you can't make with materials you can't identify, using techniques you never learned in this world. Naked means dead, not eventually. Now every surface is hostile to exposed skin. Every task requires tools. Every tool requires other tools. You're trying to bootstrap civilization from nothing while your body dissolves in real time. The Aldoan toolmakers 2.6 million years ago were smarter than you. At least they could make edges. You can't even make excuses that matter here. 9 hours, the heat has broken you, but evening brings new terrors. The temperature will plummet to 30 degrees, from hypothermia to hypothermia in one sunset. Without shelter, you'll shiver yourself to death by dawn. That cave mouth looks inviting, dark, cool, protective. Your ancestors would laugh at your naivety if they weren't busy running in the opposite direction. African caves belong to leopards during the day, hyenas at night. The bones littering the entrance aren't decorative. They're warnings you can't read. Building shelter requires materials, tools, and knowledge. You have none. Those elephant grass bundles could make walls. But cutting grass without tools means shredded hands and negligible progress. Your ancestors used stone sickles. You're using fingernails that separated from their beds hours ago. A simple lean-to needs supportive branches, minimum 8 ft long, 3 in thick. Crossbeams are flexible but strong. Lashing material, vines, sinew or bark strips and covering grass, leaves or hide. Finding branches means entering acacia thorns that pierce like surgical needles. Flexible vines, half are toxic to touch. Bark strips require tools to harvest. You're shopping for construction materials in nature's hardware store with no money and no hands. The engineering knowledge alone would break you. Angle too steep, rain pours in, too shallow, wind destroys it, wrong orientation. You're sleeping in a river when storms hit. Foundation not cleared. Hello, scorpions. Your ancestors learned optimal angles through generations of deadly trial and error. You're trying to speedrun architecture while hypothermic. Forget complex shelters. You can't even make successful bedding. That soft grass, home to ticks carrying Crimean Congo, hemorrhagic fever, those broad leaves covered in urticating hairs that cause months of agony. The bare ground is packed with parasites that enter through skin. Cebu Cave shows 77,000-year-old bedding made from insect-repelling plants changed regularly, burned for hygiene. You're lying on dirt and praying. A tree seems safer. Can you climb? Those office-atrophied muscles say no. Even if you could, leopards own the branches. They cache kills in trees. You'd be climbing into their pantry. As prey, the irony of seeking shelter in a predator's dining room would be funny if it weren't lethal. Darkness falls like a curtain made of teeth. Your pathetic grass pile offers zero protection. Mosquitoes arrive in clouds. Not modern mosquitoes, but Pleistocene varieties carrying novel malaria strains your immune system can't recognize. Each bite is a lottery ticket to cerebral malaria. The winner dies in 72 hours. The temperature drops from 35 degrees C to 18 degrees C in 2 hours. Your naked body can't cope. Shivering begins, violent, uncontrollable. Your muscles burn through glucose reserves trying to generate heat. In 4 hours, you'll be hypothermic in Africa, the same place you were dying of heat stroke this afternoon. Without fire, shelter is just a place to die more comfortably. Your grass pile might block 10% of the wind. You need 90% protection to maintain core temperature. The math is simple. Exposure plus no insulation equals death by dawn. Your ancestors built with precise thermal calculations. You built with panic and hope. The sounds begin. Hyena whoops. The lion roars. Leopard soaring. Your shelter isn't protection, it's a dinner bell. Every predator knows distressed prey seeks poor shelter. You've essentially built a eat-me sign from grass and desperation. They're coming, not when. That rustling could be wind, could be a 200 kilos cat approaching. Your shelter has no walls, no door, no defense. You're lying in an open-air meat display. The only question is, which predator claims you first? The betting favors leopards. They specialize in taking humans from shelters. Your body heat dissipates into African night. No insulation, no fire, no chance. The shelter that took 3 hours to build provides 3 seconds of protection. You're experiencing architecture's most fundamental lesson. Bad shelter is worse than no shelter. At least running keeps you warm. But you can't run anymore. Dehydration, exhaustion, and feet that look like raw steaks have ended mobility. You'll spend the night in a grass pile that wouldn't shelter a rabbit, waiting for death to punch its time card. The hyenas are laughing. They know a joke when they see one. And tonight, you are the punchline. 11 hours, full darkness. The temperature has dropped to 15 degrees C. Your body is consuming itself for warmth. Without fire, you have maybe 6 hours before hypothermia wins. But making fire, that's the cruelest joke yet. Friction fire. The survival shows make it look simple. Spin a stick, smoke, blow gently, flame appears. Reality, specific wood combinations, precise pressure, perfect tinder, exact technique. Get one variable wrong, death by freezing. Your shaking hands can't even hold a stick steady, much less create controlled friction. Wood selection alone requires PhD-level knowledge. Soft wood for the fireboard, but not any softwood, cedar, cottonwood, willow, hardwood for the spindle, but compatible hardwood. Mixing the wrong woods means physics laughs at your efforts. That dead branch could be perfect, could be useless. You can't tell. Your ancestors knew every tree's burning personality. You know nothing. The hand drill method needs calloused palms, specific rhythm, downward pressure while spinning. Your soft hands blister immediately. Blood makes the spindle slippery. Each attempt tears more skin. You're literally bleeding out through friction attempts. Success rate for beginners in perfect conditions, maybe 5%. In darkness, dehydrated, hypothermic, 0. Bow drill requires cordage you don't have. Plant fibers need processing, stripping, twisting, testing. Each plant has different properties. Sinew needs a dead animal. Hide strips need tools to cut. You're trying to build complex machinery from nothing while your brain shuts down from the cold. Even if you miraculously produce an ember, then what? Tinder bundle requires materials graded from finest to coarse, thread-thin fibers to catch spark, slightly thicker to build heat, pencil-thick to sustain flame. Wrong gradation means your ember dies. African humidity means most materials are too moist. You need days of preparation. You have minutes of consciousness. The fireplow method, rubbing wood and groove, needs more strength than your depleted muscles possess. Each stroke must be powerful, consistent, building heat through pure friction. Your shaking limbs manage 3 weak attempts before cramping. The wood remains cold, mocking, indifferent to your death. Flint and steel. You have neither flint nor pyrite, and can't identify either in darkness. Fire by percussion requires specific angles, specific stones, specific technique. Your random rock banging just creates noise to attract predators. Congratulations, you've invented the dinner bell. Your ancestors carried fire always. Punk wood smoldering in horn containers, ember bundles in clay. Fire was so precious they'd risk death to maintain it. One person designated as firekeeper, losing fire meant potential tribal extinction. You understand why? Fire isn't just warmth. It's the barrier between humans and meat. Without fire, you can't purify water, accelerating disease, cook food, eliminating toxins, signal for help. Not that anyone would come. Create tools. Hardening wood points make medicine extracting compounds, or most importantly, keep predators at psychological distance. That last point matters now. Eyes shine in the darkness. Many eye predators have learned. Humans without fire are just clever meat. They're patient, waiting for your shivering to stop, for unconsciousness to claim you. Then they'll feed. The presence of fire creates a barrier older than our species. Its absence invites consumption. Your core temperature reads 34 degrees C, mild hypothermia, shivering violently. Decision-making is compromised, fine motor control gone. In 2 hours, shivering stops. Your muscles give up. In 4 hours, cardiac arrhythmia. In 6, death. All preventable with humanity's oldest technology, which you can't create. The bitter irony, you're surrounded by combustible material, enough fuel to burn for days, but the activation energy might as well be fusion. You need fire to make fire-making tools, need tools to process fire materials, need processed materials to sustain initial spark. It's circular logic with death as the conclusion. Homo erectus mastered fire 1.5 million years ago. You can't manage what your ancestors considered baseline technology. In the hierarchy of human skills, fire making is elementary. You're failing kindergarten while hypothermia grades your final exam. The darkness is complete. No moon, no stars through cloud cover. Just cold, eating through your skin, and predators waiting for the shivering to stop. You're going to die because you can't do what every human for 50,000 generations considered basic. Fire or die wasn't a choice, it was an equation. And you've solved for death. 13 hours. Your stomach has moved past hunger into something else. A hollow, burning emptiness that makes thinking impossible. Your body is catabolizing muscle tissue for energy. You're literally digesting yourself. But finding food, that's where comedy becomes tragedy. Those berries look edible, round, purple, juicy. Your brain screams blueberries, their Solanum retroflexum deadly nightshade's African cousin. 2 berries cause hallucinations, 5 cause paralysis, 10 stop your heart. Your ancestors knew the difference by leaf shape, growth pattern, season. You see purple and think of food. Death sees you and thinks amateur. Hunting is a fever dream. That rabbit you've been stalking for an hour. It knew you were there before you knew it existed. African hares evolved dodging leopards. You're not even a credible threat, more like entertainment. It's playing with you, burning your calories for sport. Persistence hunting, running prey to exhaustion, requires teams, strategy, and tracking skills. You can't tell fresh tracks from old, can't distinguish male from female prints, can't predict movement patterns. You're following shadows while real animals watch from safety, probably taking bets on how long before you collapse. Birds seem easier. Just throw rocks. Except hand-eye coordination requires practice from childhood, trajectory calculation, wind compensation, leading moving targets. Your brain can't process mathematics, that dove you missed by 3 meters. Your ancestors could hit it blindfolded. You can't hit the tree it's sitting in. Insects offer protein. Termites, ants, grubs, but accessing them requires tools. Termite mounds are concrete hard. Ant colonies defend viciously. Grubs hide under bark you can't remove. You're reduced to catching individual ants with wet fingers. Calories return negative. You burn more energy hunting than you could ever consume. Plants should be simpler, but African bot is weaponized. That root vegetable needs 3 days of processing to remove cyanide. Those seeds contain protease inhibitors that destroy your gut. The leaves that look like salad, cardiac glycosides that stop your heart mid-chew. Every plant evolved chemical defenses. Your evolution forgot to include the manual. Even successful hunting means nothing without tools. Say you miraculously caught something. A bird, now what? Pluck feathers with your teeth, bite through skin. Your jaw can't generate enough force. Your teeth aren't shaped for tearing. You'd break mirrors on sparrow bones. The protein would rot before you could access it. Scavenging seems logical. Find what predators left. But African scavengers follow hierarchy. Lions eat first, hyenas second, vultures third. You're somewhere after bacteria. Anything left is either bones too thick to crack or meat so putrid it would kill you faster than starvation. Plus, hanging around kill sites means meeting the killers. Your blood sugar has crashed. Hypoglycemia makes your hands shake. Vision blur, thoughts fragment. You need 2,000 calories daily just for basic function. Traditional knowledge would save you. Which grubs are seasonal? Where do tubers grow deepest? How do you neutralize plant toxins? When do fruits ripen and which eggs are safe? Your ancestors carried 10,000 years of accumulated dietary wisdom. You have vague memories of grocery stores and cooking shows. A warthog roots nearby, 50 kilos of meat. It eyes you with porcine contempt. You're not predator enough to threaten it. Those tusks have opened leopards. What chance do your soft hands have? It continues feeding while you watch, saliva pooling in your mouth. So close, so impossible, your body enters starvation mode. Metabolic rate drops, temperature falls, immune system crashes, wound healing stops. Your brain, that glucose-hungry organ, gets foggy, stupid. You're making increasingly desperate decisions, like eating those purple berries that definitely aren't nightshade. They definitely are. 15 hours, the berry poison races through your system, but that's just today's special. Africa has been dosing you with death since minute 1. Your immune system, trained on first world bacteria, meets diseases that shaped human evolution. It's not going well. That mosquito bite from hour 2, Plasmodium falciparum, is already invading your red blood cells. Malaria, not modern malaria, but ancestral strains your body has zero defense against. In 48 hours, you'll spike a 104-degree fever. In 72, cerebral involvement, confusion, seizures, coma. Without artemisinin or quinine, mortality approaches 100%. The tsetse fly that bit you while you drank? Trypanosoma brucei is swimming toward your brain. Sleeping sickness starts subtly. Headaches, joint pain. Then comes the neurological phase. Sleep cycle destruction, personality changes, uncontrollable movements. You'll die insane, unable to sleep or wake properly. The name is misleading. There's no sleeping through this disease. But wait, there's more. That contaminated water carried bonuses. Entamoeba histolytica is dissolving your intestinal walls. Amoebic dysentery means you'll shit blood until dehydration kills you. Each episode loses precious fluids you can't replace. The pain is extraordinary, like hot glass shards in your gut. Your unwashed hands introduce Strongyloides stercoralis. These parasitic worms penetrate skin, migrate to lungs, get coughed up and swallowed, then set up shop in your intestines. They'll live there for decades if you have decades. Their party trick? Auto-infection. They reproduce inside you, populations exploding exponentially. The untreated cut on your foot? Clostridium tetani is producing tetanospasmin. Tetanus. Your jaw muscles lock first. Lockjaw isn't metaphorical. Then your back arches so violently it can break your own spine. You'll die conscious, in agony, unable to scream through clenched teeth. Nature's torture chamber. Those lung flukes from the questionable water are migrating. Paragonymous Westermanni turns your lungs into Swiss cheese. You'll cough up blood, rust-colored sputum, chunks of lung tissue. Breathing becomes wet, labored, impossible, drowning in your own perforated organs while parasites reproduce. The nightshade berries add their own symphony. Solanine poisoning starts with burning mouth, throat constriction. Then comes the neurological cascade. Hallucinations, paralysis, respiratory depression. Your diaphragm stops working. You consciously suffocate while purple berries digest in your dying stomach. Without antibiotics, antiseptics, or even basic hygiene, every wound festers. That thorn puncture? Streptococcus pyogenes is eating your flesh. Necrotizing fasciitis, flesh-eating disease. It spreads at 3 centimeters per hour. You can watch your own skin die, blacken, slough off. The smell is unforgettable, sweet, rotten, wrong. Your diarrhea from multiple sources creates a death spiral, losing fluids, electrolytes, the intestinal lining itself. Potassium depletion causes heart arrhythmias. Sodium loss triggers seizures. You need oral rehydration salts, sugar, salt, water in precise ratios. You have dirty water and dying organs. The fever climbs. Not one fever, multiple infections competing. Malaria spikes every 48 hours. Bacterial infections burn constantly. Parasitic invasions add their own heat. Your hypothalamus can't regulate. You're burning up while shivering, cooking your own brain while convinced you're freezing. Traditional medicine could help. Artemisia afra for malaria, Warburgia bark for parasites, specific clays that bind toxins. Your ancestors knew which plants, what doses, how to prepare them. Knowledge accumulated over millennia, passed from healer to student, lost to you completely. Your lymph nodes swell grotesquely. The spleen enlarges, pressing against other organs. Your liver struggles to filter toxins from multiple infections. Each system fails in a cascade. Modern medicine could save you with IV antibiotics, antimalarials, and supportive care. Here, you get to experience how most humans died for most of history. The hallucinations intensify. Is that your dead grandmother or solanine psychosis? Are those real worms under your skin or delusional parasitosis? Reality fractures. You're fighting a dozen diseases while your mind dissolves. Your immune system waves white flags from every organ. This is how Africa shaped human evolution. Those with superior immunity survived to reproduce. Sickle cell trait, Duffy negativity, G6PD deficiency, all evolutionary responses to African diseases. You lack these adaptations. You're playing immunological poker with no cards. Time to organ failure, 12 hours. Time to delirium, 6 hours. Time to realize you're dying of everything simultaneously, now. Africa doesn't kill with single bullets. It empties the entire clip and reloads. 17 hours alone. That word carries weight you're only beginning to understand. In Paleolithic Africa, alone and dead are synonyms. You're learning why humans are obligate social animals, not by choice, by survival necessity. A band of 25 provides 600 human hours of labor daily. You provide 24 minus the 16 you're spending dying. The math of survival requires multiplication. You're attempting division by 0. Watch a lone human try to guard against predators. You need 360 degrees awareness, 24-hour vigilance, impossible. Bands posted rotating sentries, maintained fires, created noise perimeters. You're trying to watch everywhere while your eyelids weigh kilos. Every micro-sleep is a dinner invitation to watching predators. Language evolved for survival coordination. Lion, north, approaching, take cover. 4 words that save lives. Your screams into emptiness save nothing. No one hears warnings. No one shares intelligence. That rustling you can't identify. Someone else would know, would tell you, would save you. Instead, you guess wrong and die. Collective knowledge makes survival possible. One person remembers which plants heal infection. Another knows where water runs cleanest. Someone tracks weather patterns. Someone else reads animal behavior. The band's knowledge is exponential. Your solo knowledge is a rounding error approaching zero. Hunting large game requires choreographed teamwork, drivers, ambushers, trackers, finishers. Each role is critical. You're trying to be an entire hunting party while starving. It's like playing team sports alone, technically possible, practically pointless. That warthog laughs at your solo stalking. It would fear 5 humans with roles. Tool manufacturing needs specialization. The master napper makes blades. The hafting expert attaches handles. The fire specialist maintains embers. The cordage maker creates bindings. Complex tools require multiple specialists. You can't even make simple tools. Forget about composite technologies. Psychological destruction compounds physical failure. Humans need social contact like vitamins. Isolation triggers cascading mental failures, paranoia, hallucinations, cognitive decline. Your brain, evolved for social calculation, turns on itself without input. You're computing social equations with no variables. The result is madness. Child rearing alone? Impossible. Human infants are born premature compared to other primates. They need years of constant care. Mothers need support to nurse. Communities raise children. Solo parents in Paleolithic Africa don't exist because they died along with their offspring. Genetic dead ends. Injury or illness means a death sentence alone. Who sets your broken bone? Who brings water during fever? Who guards you during recovery? Who shares food while you heal? No one. A sprained ankle, normally a week's inconvenience, becomes terminal. The band continues. You become archaeology. Knowledge transmission requires relationships, master to apprentice, parent to child, elder to youth. Stories encode survival data. Songs remember water sources. Dances teach hunting patterns. Alone, you're a library with no books, no readers, no future. Your knowledge dies with you, unshared, useless. Division of labor enables survival. While hunters pursue game, gatherers collect plants. Children gather firewood. Elders process materials. Craftsmen make tools. Everyone contributes specialized effort. You're trying to do everything, accomplishing nothing, like building a house while living in it during a hurricane. Emotional support matters for survival. Fear shared is fear halved. Joy shared is joy doubled. Grief processed communally heals. Alone, every terror compounds. Every loss breaks you further. No comfort, no encouragement, no shared strength, just escalating psychological collapse. Even successful resource acquisition means nothing alone. Kill an antelope. You can't process 50 kills before spoilage. Find a fruiting tree. You can't harvest everything before it rots or others claim it. Discover a water source. You can't defend it. Resources without community are theoretical assets. The reproductive impossibility seals it. No mate means no offspring. No offspring means genetic termination, but it's academic. You won't survive long enough to worry about reproduction. Genetic fitness requires living to reproductive age. Alone, you're not even reaching next week. Status, identity, purpose, all derived from social context. The band's best tracker has value. The firekeeper has respect. The storyteller has purpose. Alone, you're nothing. No role, no identity, no point. Existential crisis while dying, philosophy's cruelest joke. Your ancestors understood. Humans survive as groups or die as individuals. There's no middle ground, no lone wolf romanticism, just mathematical certainty that social isolation equals death. You're proving this theorem with your life. 17 hours alone, 17 hours dying. The correlation isn't coincidental, it's casual. 18 hours. True African darkness, not modern darkness diluted by light pollution. Absolute darkness. The kind where you can't see your hand touching your face, where predators rule and humans huddle, where you're alone, your pupils dilate uselessly. Human night vision is a joke compared to nocturnal predators. Leopards see 6 times better in darkness, their tapetum lucidum reflecting available light, creating the eyeshine that terrorizes you now, multiple pairs watching you, glowing dots. They see dinner in high definition. The sounds begin, not random noise communication. Hyena whoops carry 5-kilometer coordinating pack movements. Lion roars establish territory, paralyze prey with infrasound frequencies. Leopard snarls announce presence. Each sound places you on the menu. Your pathetic human hearing can't even locate directions properly. Movement becomes Russian roulette. Each step might find solid ground, a snake or a cliff edge. Your ancestors navigated by memory, moonlight, star patterns. You have none of these. Stumbling blindly just announces your location. Standing still means certain predation. There's no winning move. The temperature plummets further. 12 degrees Celsius now. Your naked body radiates heat into the African night. No fire, no shelter, no insulation, just skin, losing 100 watts per square meter to cold air. Hypothermia tightens its grip, shivering so violent it feels like seizures, your body burning final fuel reserves. Nocturnal insects emerge, things that bite, sting, burrow. Sandflies injecting leishmania, assassin bugs carrying Chagas disease, botflies laying eggs in your flesh. Each tiny attacker carries death in miniature. Your exhausted slapping just attracts more. Blood scent draws them like organic magnets. The psychological horror peaks. Darkness triggers primal fears evolved over millions of years for good reason. We're diurnal apes in a nocturnal predator's world. Your brain floods with anxiety chemicals, heart rate spikes, breathing quickens, using precious energy you don't have for panic that won't save you. Every shadow could be death. That darker patch, a bush or a crouching cat. That whisper, wind or a stalking predator. Your pattern recognition software goes haywire, creating threats from nothing while missing real danger. The leopard approaches from a direction you're not watching. Always. Nocturnal hunting strategies favor ambush predators. They've evolved patience measured in hours, sitting, waiting, watching you exhaust yourself with fear. When you finally collapse, and you will, they'll move efficiently, silently, finally. The waiting game where only one player knows the rules. Your circadian rhythms rebel. Your body expects to sleep in darkness, but sleeping means death. The conflict creates dissociative states, micro-sleeps you can't control, waking nightmares, reality blending with exhaustion hallucinations. Are those real eyes or phosphine patterns? Does it matter when both might kill you? African nights last 11 to 12 hours near the equator. You've survived 6 maybe. Time distorts in darkness. Minutes feel like hours, hours like geological ages. Your phone-trained time sense is useless without glowing screens, just endless darkness punctuated by terror. The hyenas grow bolder, their laughter closer. They know exhausted prey from evolutionary experience. Your movement patterns, scent markers, behavior all scream dying animals. They're patient professionals. They've been doing this for millions of years. You've been failing at it for 18 hours. Without fire, you're not human after dark. Just another primate. Weak primate, slow primate, defenseless primate. Our ancestors knew fire was the light that said human territory. Its absence is a free meal. Every predator in 10 square kilometers knows you're fireless, defenseless, hopeless. That crack, a branch or bone, that splash, a hippo or crocodile, that breathing wind or predator. Your senses, evolved for daylight, feed false information. Your brain, starved of glucose and oxygen, interprets it wrong. You're navigating a nightmare with a broken compass pointing toward death. The darkness has weight, a physical presence. It presses against your skin, fills your lungs, crushes your spirit. This isn't a poetic metaphor, it's a psychological reality. Humans need light like water. Without it, we break. You've been breaking for hours. Dawn is 6 hours away. You won't see it. Statistics say most predation happens in darkness, when prey can't see, can't run, can't fight, can only die. You're becoming a statistic in real time, another confirmation that humans without tools, without fire, without community aren't apex anything. We're just meat that briefly thought it wasn't. 20 hours. Your brain operates at perhaps 30% capacity, but even at full power, you lack something that would save you 200,000 years of accumulated wisdom. The knowledge gap between you and a Paleolithic child is wider than the gap between you and a Nobel laureate. By age 5, prehistoric children could identify 200+ plants by sight, smell, and touch. They knew which thorns caused festering wounds versus clean punctures, which barks treated fever versus dysentery, which roots became edible after processing versus permanently toxic. Your botanical knowledge, green stuff, maybe salad. Navigation without tools requires reading the land like text. Wind erosion patterns indicate direction. Termite mounds point north-south. Certain trees grow only on specific slopes. Star positions behind cloud cover can be inferred from temperature gradients. Your ancestors held mental maps spanning thousands of square kilometers. You're lost in a place you can see entirely. Tracking isn't following footprints. It's reading a story written in bent grass, displaced pebbles, dried saliva on leaves. This impala is female, has a limp, drank water 2 hours ago, is heading toward an acacia grove, fleeing wild dogs from a single track. Your ancestors saw a Netflix series in dirt. You see dirt. Weather prediction meant survival. Pressure changes felt in sinus cavities, humidity tasted in air, wind shifts decoded by bird behavior, cloud formations read like newspapers. Rain in 6 hours, flash flood risk, move to higher ground. Your weather knowledge. Looks cloudy maybe, medicine wasn't random. Plant chewing dosages varied by patient weight, symptom severity, plant growth stage, preparation method. Willow bark for fever, but which species? What concentration? How extracted? Mixed with what to prevent stomach damage? Traditional healers trained for decades. You have 20 hours of dying. Firemaking seems simple until you need specific materials. This wood, too resinous. That wood, too wet inside. Wrong combination means physics laughs at friction. Tinder must be graded perfectly. Threads to catch spark, fibers to build heat, twigs to sustain. One error anywhere equals freezing death. Master firemakers succeeded in 90% of attempts. You're at 0%. Tool creation requires understanding stone crystalline structures, how force propagates through flint, which angles create sharp versus durable edges, platform preparation, percussion angles, pressure flaking sequences, each strike planned 3 moves ahead like chess. You're randomly banging rocks like an angry chimp with worse results. Social knowledge mattered equally. Which bands were allies? What gifts showed respect? How to approach strangers without triggering violence, accent patterns revealing birthplace, intentions, genealogy. Marriage rules prevent inbreeding, alliance networks spanning continents. You can't even signal "I'm not a threat" correctly. Seasonal calendars existed without writing, moon phases, star positions, animal migrations, plant cycles, insect emergencies, all interwoven into a survival almanac. When the 7 sisters rise before dawn and dung beetles roll north, prepare for antelope migration. You don't even know the current season beyond hot. Hunting large game required ethology degrees. Each species' vision limitations. scent detection ranges, fear responses, exhaustion patterns, where they drink, when they sleep, how they signal danger. Successful hunters thought like prey, predicted like predators. You think like a lost tourist. Child-rearing knowledge, accumulated over millennia, when to introduce solid foods, how to treat common childhood diseases, which behaviors indicated serious illness, how to teach survival skills through play. Traditional societies had lower infant mortality than early agricultural ones because they knew what you'll never learn. Spiritual knowledge encoded practical information. Angry spirits live there means poisonous gas seeps. Sacred grove means pharmacy, don't destroy. Creation stories contained navigation instructions. Initiation rites taught survival skills. Religion was a user manual disguised as mythology. You have neither manual nor mythology. This knowledge couldn't be Googled, couldn't be learned from books, required lived experience, careful observation, patient teaching, costly mistakes, each piece purchased with blood, refined with repetition, transmitted with precision. The greatest library ever assembled, stored in human minds, accessed through relationships. You're trying to recreate civilization's foundation while dying of ignorance, like solving calculus without knowing arithmetic, like performing surgery without knowing anatomy. The knowledge existed in minds now dust, taking secrets you desperately need. Your ancestors weren't smarter. They were educated by reality, graduated by survival, mastered through necessity. You're failing the entrance exam to a school that closed 10,000 years ago. The tuition was paid in generations. You can't afford a single lesson. 22 hours. Let's pause your dying to appreciate what you're failing to become. Your ancestors didn't just survive Paleolithic Africa, they conquered it so thoroughly, we're here to fail at it. How? Through adaptations that make your modern capabilities look like evolutionary participation trophies. Start with children. By age 3, toddlers could identify toxic plants by leaf sheen. By 5, they tracked a small game. By 8, they made functional tools. By 12, they were net contributors to band survival, not prodigies, normal kids in an education system where failure meant family starvation, where final exams had teeth. Physical conditioning began at birth. Infant carrying positions to strengthen specific muscles. Toddlers walked 10+ kilometers daily. Children climbed, swam, threw with accuracy that would shame Olympic athletes. By adulthood, bodies were weapons. 10% body fat, tendons like steel cables, feet that could run on thorns. You have an office worker physique in a gladiator arena. Mental maps spanned continents, navigation by star patterns, wind directions, subtle elevation changes, seasonal variations memorized across decades, water sources catalogued by reliability, predator presence, mineral content. They carried Google Earth in their heads, updated real-time, shared verbally, perfect recall. You need GPS to find your car. Toolmaking was art, science, engineering combined. Master knappers could strike 50 usable flakes from a single core. Each strike calculated, angles measured by feel, force controlled within newtons. They saw finished tools in raw stone, like sculptors see statues in marble. Apprenticeships lasted decades. You can't even sharpen a pencil properly. Social networks spanned thousands of individuals. Gift exchanges, marriage alliances, mutual defense pacts, information highways carrying news of weather, resources, threats. Your death would be known 500 kilometers away within months. Stories would teach future generations what not to do. You're becoming a cautionary tale. Dietary knowledge encompassed 300+ species, not just edible toxic binary, but seasonal variations, preparation methods, medicinal properties, nutrient interactions. They ate insects for specific minerals, organs for vitamins, bones for calcium, clay for detoxification, balanced nutrition without charts. You can't identify a single safe food. Hunting wasn't chasing animals, it was psychological warfare. Persistence hunters thought like prey until prey thought like dead. Reading micro-expressions in animal behavior, predicting decision trees, manipulating fear responses. Success rates approached 50% for coordinated hunts. You couldn't catch a cold in a hospital. Fire mastery went beyond starting flames, banking coals for transport, creating specific temperatures for different purposes, smoke signals visible 50 kilometers, fire-hardened spears, steam-bent wood, controlled burns for landscape management. They were pyrotechnic engineers. You're not even a competent arsonist. Medicine included surgery, trepanation, bone setting, wound suturing with ant mandibles, dental extraction, obstetric interventions, anesthesia from plant alkaloids, antiseptics from specific fungi, success rates that wouldn't shame modern field hospitals, all without germ theory. You can't even diagnose your own dehydration. Community coordination resembled military precision, hunting assignments, sentry rotations, resource allocation, childcare scheduling, knowledge preservation protocols, conflict resolution systems, leadership based on competence, not charisma. They ran corporations without spreadsheets. You can't organize solo survival. Risk management calculated unconsciously. Energy expenditure versus caloric gain. Predation probability versus resource value. Weather windows, social capital investment. They ran cost-benefit analyses that would impress actuaries, every decision optimized for group survival across time horizons. You make panicked choices optimized for immediate failure. Information density and oral traditions exceeded libraries. Navigation instructions encoded in songs, medical procedures in dances, historical weather patterns in stories, genealogies preventing inbreeding, technical specifications in metaphors. They transmitted gigabytes without writing. You forget your own phone number. Psychological resilience came from meaning, purpose, belonging. Every individual had vital roles. Children saw their future selves in adults. Elders saw legacy in youth. Death had context, part of cycles, not endpoints. They faced horror with hope. You face minor challenges with despair. Physical capabilities matched mental ones, ran 40 kilometers pursuing prey, carried 30 kilos across terrain, threw spears with sniper accuracy, climbed vertical cliffs, swam crocodile-infested rivers. Not extraordinary individuals, baseline expectations. You're winded from writing excuses. This wasn't a primitive existence. It was optimization perfected across deep time. Every calorie counted, every decision mattered. Every skill contributed. They built an invisible civilization from knowledge, relationship, and will. Technology so advanced it looked like nature. You're not failing because you're weak. You're failing because you're untrained for reality. They mastered it like asking concert pianists to perform surgery. Wrong skills, however refined, equal death here. They survived through becoming something you're not. Actually human. Fully adapted, completely capable, utterly alive. You're none of these, which is why you're dying. 23 hours, 37 minutes. Your body has become a teaching moment in systems failure. Core temperature, 32 degrees C. Blood pressure, 60/30. Oxygen saturation, unmeasurable. But the numbers don't capture the poetry of dying alone in humanity's birthplace. The berry poison races your infections to claim victory. Solanine paralysis creeps upward, legs useless hours ago, arms failing, diaphragm next. Fighting malaria, dysentery, tetanus, and nightshade simultaneously, it's biological overkill. Any single condition would kill you. Together, they're arguing over your corpse. Your vision tunnels to pinholes, not darkness, worse, disconnection. The brain receives signals it can't process. That shape might be a leopard, a tree, your mother, or a god. Doesn't matter, can't run from any of them, can't run at all. The motor cortex has left the building. The hyenas stopped laughing. That's bad. Laughter means anticipation. Silence means decision. They've waited 24 hours, patient as geology. Now they're moving with purpose. You hear them breathing, smell their rancid meat breath. Feel the earth vibrate under their weight. They know you know. They don't care. Consciousness fragments like a broken mirror. Each shard reflects a different failure. The water that poisoned you, the shelter you couldn't build, the fire you couldn't make, the food you couldn't find, the knowledge you never learned, the people who aren't here, death by 1,000 inadequacies. Your last coherent thought isn't profound, probably about water or warmth or home. The grand questions, meaning, purpose, legacy, require brain function you've lost. Philosophy is for the living. Dying is for basics. Breath, heartbeat, the next second that won't come. A weight on your chest, not metaphorical, physical. A spotted hyena testing, checking if you'll fight. You can't, won't. The paralysis is complete. Your conscious meat, aware of your consumption. The cruelest gift evolution gave us, knowing we're dying while it happens. The first bite is gentle, investigative. Hyenas eat living prey, starting with soft tissues, genitals, belly, face. You'll be alive for most of it. Shock is a mercy your body can't afford. Every nerve firing, every neuron screaming, but your paralyzed throat can't. More arrive, the hierarchy asserts. The dominant female feeds first. Others wait, dancing with anticipation. Your blood pools dark in moonlight, still conscious, still aware. The human brain's remarkable durability, now a curse. You're watching your own conclusion. A leopard coughs nearby. The hyenas pause, calculating. Leopards cache kills in trees. Worth fighting over your body? What remains isn't going anywhere. They return to feeding. You're not even worth a territorial dispute, just meat being processed. Your brain, starved of oxygen, fires randomly, childhood memories, first love, last meal, the mundane mixed with the profound. Neurons dying in cascade, taking your story with them. No one to remember, no one to mourn, no one to learn from your mistakes. The pain stops, not healing, nervous system failure. Signals can't reach what's left of your brain. Blessed numbness as pieces of you enter the food chain, recycled into hyena muscle, leopard fur, vulture feathers, the circle of life, with you as a punctuation mark. Breathing stops, heart follows. The brain holds on seconds longer, electrical storms in dying tissue. Then silence, not peaceful, just empty. Another failed experiment in time travel, another reminder that we conquered this world through collective intelligence, not individual toughness. Time of death, hour 24, minute 13. Cause, everything. Africa doesn't mourn failed children, doesn't care about your soft hands, your missing knowledge, your isolation. It simply processes you back into component atoms, calcium for the next generation's bones, iron for future blood, phosphorus for plants, hyenas fertilize. You came to test yourself against humanity's forge, but you brought nothing, no tools, no knowledge, no people. Like entering a university with no education, no books, no language. Failure was guaranteed before you began. Your ancestors survived through culture, cooperation, accumulated wisdom, through becoming more than individual animals, through creating humanity from hunger, stone, and will. You tried to survive as an individual. In Africa, that's not just wrong, it's impossible. The hyenas finish. Jackals claim scraps. Vultures clean bones. Beetles process fragments. Bacteria dissolve the rest. Within days, nothing remains but scattered calcium and a cautionary tale no one will hear. Welcome to the Stone Age. Population still zero. Lesson learned. You can't. Not alone, not ignorant, not soft, not you. The Paleolithic doesn't grade on a curve. It passes or fails, and you failed completely. But then you were always going to. That's the point. Survival isn't about individuals, never was. It's about us, together, learning, teaching, surviving, everything you couldn't.